Hello everyone, welcome to you all to a special class. Today I am going to discuss the poem Daffodils. It is given your 12th class CSC, which is written by William Wordsworth. ପିଲାମାନେ ଆଜି ଡାଫୋଡିଲ ବିଷୟରେ ଆମେ ଡିସ୍କସନ କରିବା। ଆକୁ ସୁନ୍ଦର ଭାବେ ବୋଥ ଇଂଲିଶ ଓ ଓଡ଼ିଆରେ ବୁଝେଇବା। ତମେ ଭଲ ଭାବରେ ଆକୁ ମନ ଦେଇଥାଅ ଆଉ ବୁଝ ଭଲ ଭାବରେ। ଦେଖ ଏ ପୋଏମଟା ଇଟ୍ ଇଜ ରିଟନ୍ ବାय William Wordsworth. Before we discuss the poem, we will find a short description about the poet. Introducing the poet, William Wordsworth is one of the major poets in his time. He is considered as poet of nature. प्रकृति कवि प्रकृति उपरे तांकर सब बहुत गुड़ाक कविता लिखा है। He was honored as England's poet laureate. इंग्लैंड बड़ कविता पुरस्कार तांको ही दिया जाइछि। तांकर गोटे स्पेशल फेमस कोटेशन, he defined poetry as spontaneous overflow of a powerful feeling. Spontaneous overflow of powerful feeling arising from emotion recollected in tranquility. It gives special meaning. Special meaning means the spontaneous overflow of a powerful feeling एटा जदि न आसीबो ताहले पोएम लिखि हबो नाही। स्पॉन्टेनियस ओवरफ्लो मीन्स आप आपे स्वतःस्फूर्त भावे एक्सपोज करिवो ओवरफ्लो हबो। ए गोटे रोमांटिक पोएट रो गोटे एग्जांपल। जेमति इठी हमें देखिबा ए रोमांटिक मोमेंट्स कॉन्टेक्स्ट क्रिटिकल एटा कोट कहै ना अर्ली 19th सेंचुरी इंडस्ट्रियल रिवोल्यूशन जेतबे हेतिला and the industrial revolution was transformed England urbanizing society and a distance people from nature. Romanticism Wordsworth रो पोएम रे पूरा रिफ्लेक्ट करिछि। Daffodils एठी exemplifies Wordsworth nature, Wordsworth रो mature romantic philosophy. The poem celebrates nature's beauty, emphasizes on personal emotion, personal response, use accessible language and explore the imagination's role in preserving and sustaining human happiness. एटा हमें romanticism बोली कहूचे। The poet of nature and use common words to express his feeling. He does not use any difficult archaic language. He use very simple language to express his feeling. तांको फीलिंग टाको एक्सप्रेस करिया पाई से बहुत सिंपल लैंग्वेज व्यवहार करचंती। पिला एठी गुटे नजर रखितबो, यू मस्ट लर्न योर पोएम इन इंग्लिश ले यू मस्ट लिसन योर पोएम इन इंग्लिश एंड अंडरस्टैंड इन इंग्लिश, राइट इन इंग्लिश। समटाइम्स वी स्पीक इन ओडिया तम पाई सहज होबा पाई टिके टिके ओडिया रे कहा जिवो आ ओडियाटा केबल ही टिके बुझिबो, बट इट इज नॉट राइट टू स्पीक और to learn in full ओडिया। संपूर्ण ओडिया रे पढिबनी तो खाली बुझिबो आ इंग्लिश रे लिखिबो, इंग्लिश रे कहिबो और इंग्लिश रे बुझिबो। बिफोर वी स्टार्ट द पोएम तो देखो इठी काची वार्म अप। व्हाट अबाउट द पोएम, पोएम ऊपर कोन कहा जाय छै टिके तापर डिस्कशन करा जाय छै। दिस पोएम इनकॉर्पोरेट द आइडिया एंड एसेट ऑफ एसेंशियल रोमांटिक पोएट। आई हैव ऑलरेडी टोल्ड यू व्हाट इज रोमांटिक and what is romantic poet. Then again I explain you here Wordsworth is often considered father of English romanticism. Romanticism होची गोटे लिटरेसी मूवमेंट emphasizing emotion, imagination, nature and individual experience. In 1780 together with Samuel Taylor Coleridge, Wordsworth published the lyrical bundle published करथले, a revolutionary collection establishing romantic poetry principle. This collection prefers articulate Wordsworth's poetic philosophy. Poetry should use the language of ordinary people to express a powerful emotion, the truth about human experience and nature. तेणु एटा होची रोमांटिक पोएट्री क्वालिटी। सो जेतले स्ट्रांग फीलिंग, स्ट्रांग इमोशन ता लैंग्वेज रे प्रकाश करबा रोमांटिसिज्म हैला। The field of daffodils is evidently the subject of the poem. एठी ए पोएम रे daffodil पोएम रे पोएट को फीलिंग और इमोशन ता अटैच करछथि। काहे कि ना पोएम में डिस्कशन करबा केते परिमाण इमोशन से अटैच करछथि से जानि हे दिबा Wordsworth adds a range of natural images such as lakes, trees, stars, even cloud in his poem. So, through the nature, a tranquility mood is instantly created from the first line. Students, you understand meaning of a tranquility mood. When a person is in a calm, quiet mood, feeling or emotion will automatically come to his mind. And first, the poem is expressed and titled I Wander Lonely as a Cloud. I Wander Lonely as a Cloud नारे poem ढाइतला ता परवर्ती समय Daffodils चला. The atmosphere of the poem is very peaceful and use of nature created a joyful setting. जो atmosphere poem टा create करा जाइछि केते सुंदर आ joyful आनंददायक setting रे create करचंती सेति पय से लिखचंती. Not until the poet later mused about what we saw does he fully appreciate the cheerful side of dancing daffodils. Poet iti appreciate होइचंती cheerful dancing daffodils. Cheerful side of dancing daffodils कते सुंदर दृश्यावली daffodils तापर विमोहित हे जाइचंती poet. Study the poem. वर्तमान में poem को stanza और line by line understand करबा तार meaning बुझबा word meaning बुझबा देखत. First stanza we discuss read it. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high over valleys and hills. When all at once I saw a crowd, a host of daffodils beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing the breeze. Students, now we will discuss the first line of the first stanza. I wandered. I wanders means that a movement, but a movement is aimlessly. There is no intention or no specific direction the poet moves. Walked aimlessly without a fixed purpose or a direction. Suggested that both a physical movement and emotional drifting of the poet. I wonder, remember, I wonder, meaning of a special meaning of a wonder. Wonder means moving aimlessly. Lonely as a cloud. Lonely, do know, lonely means ekutiya, isolated, solitary, lacking companion. Kaunsi sanga nahanti. The opening emotional state before the transporting encounter. First opening करचंती, that's I wonder lonely as a cloud. He compared as a cloud when cloud moves aimlessly in the sky and the cloud is free. He moves in the sky. कभी सेमती ठीक cloud भलिया move करचंती. इति कभी compare करचंती cloud सहित एटा great similarity यूज करा जाइछि. अच्छा आमे देखिबा तापरे सेकंड लाइन देखिबा कोन लिखा है सेकंड लाइन that floats on high over valleys and hills. Over valleys and hills. That floats, what floats? The cloud floats on high over valleys and hills. Cloud floats करछि कोठी ना दीट natural phenomena over valleys and hills. Valley means valleys and hills. When at once I saw a crowd. When at once means quickly, suddenly, I saw, the poet saw a crowd of daffodils. I saw a crowd. Which type of crowd? A host of golden daffodils. Golden daffodils beside the lake, beneath the trees, besides the lake, by the side of the lake, and beneath the under the tree, and a fluttering and dancing in a breeze. Fluttering means making fluttering sounds of a bird and dancing in a breeze. Means as he compared the daffodils as human quality and they make our bird quality, that is their fluttering, making sound when a breeze flows through the host of golden daffodils. They making a beautiful sound as a fluttering sound. Also, their movement looks like they are dancing. The poet here use his emotion. That's the emotion. If emotion will not come, he cannot write the poem because it's the essential quality of romanticism. So here is फ्लटरिंग करुच्ची फड़फड़ शब्द और डांसिंग करुच्ची किए करुच्ची ना होस्ट ऑफ डैफोडिल्स होस्ट ऑफ डैफोडिल्स मीन्स लार्ज नंबर ऑफ डैफोडिल्स the poem opens with the speaker introducing himself through a simile he compares himself to a cloud and the comparison establishes multiple meanings simultaneously like a cloud the speaker wanders moves without a fixed direction and is lonely a cloud floats freely through the sky without attachment to any location just as speaker moves through the landscape without purpose and a destination then second line that floats on high over valleys and hills provide a geographical context the speakers travel through valleys and hillside the lake the street landscape the cloud comparison suggests the speaker's elevation above the earthly concern it also his isolation from human connection his emotional state is melancholic loneliness characterized in wandering then when I saw crowd a host of golden daffodils remember that a golden daffodils giving golden the gold suggests the precious brilliant and warm golden daffodils the crowd means here large numbers golden describe color and a metamorphical value besides the lake and beneath the trees provide special geographical location daffodils are positions between water and a vegetation the fluttering and dancing the breeze last line fluttering and dancing the breeze means personified daffodils it's a personification used they are not merely stationary flower धीरे स्थिर होई रहनी but dynamic animated beings fluttering suggested movements like birds or butterflies dancing suggests human joy and celebration breeze became agent animating the dance nature's wind create motion and life in the flower I think you clearly understand the stanza 1 line by line you read it and understand what I say ପିଲାମାନେ एको ओडिया रे मध्ये टिके टिके तमे जानि पालो ओडिया मध्ये संपूर्ण बुझ परछ किछि प्रॉब्लम होबनी वंडर मींस क्लाउड मींस फ्लोट मींस and over valley means and fluttering dancing etc then we'll go to next stanza it is given C next stanza we'll discuss we see continuous are the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. They stretch in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. Yeah, ritual 6 line 1 2 3 4 5 6 line 1 stanza contains your section then we will discuss its meaning continuous are the stars that line so here students you remember jemti star akare continue karichi star gives it twinkle light in Milky Way the daffodils is compared as celestial bodies, continuous as stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. Introduce a second major family. Here, comparing the daffodils to celestial bodies. This comparison elevates daffodils beyond earthly significance to level of a heavenly phenomenon. So, you do know Milky Way of a galaxy. That the stars shine large numbers in Milky Way of a galaxy that shine and intrinsic luminosity. The golden daffodil similarly shine with the golden brightness. Stars twinkle, that is flickering, and appear to move. Your daffodils flutter and move similarly in the breeze. When a daffodil is fluttering, dancing in the breeze, it looks like stars. ଆକାଶରେ ତାରା ଗୁଡ଼ିକ ବିକ୍ଷିପ୍ତ ଭାବେ ଚିକ୍ 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 କରୁଛନ୍ତି, ଟ୍ୱିଙ୍କଲିଂ କରୁଛନ୍ତି। ମିଲ୍କି ୱେ ଗାଲାକ୍ସିରେ ଯେମିତି ବହୁତ ଗୁଡ଼ା ତାରା ଅନ୍ଧାର ଆକାଶରେ ଦେଖାଯାଆନ୍ତି, ଏ ଡାଫୋଡିଲ ଗୁଡ଼ାକ ସେମିତି ଦେଖାଯାଉଛନ୍ତି। ଏଠି କବିଙ୍କର ଫିଲିଂସଟା, ରୋମାଣ୍ଟିଜିମ୍ ଫିଲିଂସଟା କେମିତି ଆସିଛି ଦେଖ ଭଲ। ଆଣ୍ଡ ଟ୍ୱିଙ୍କଲ୍ସ ଅନ୍ ଦି ମିଲ୍କି ୱେ, କମ୍ପେୟାର କରିଛନ୍ତି ହେଭେନଲି ବଡି ସହିତ, ହେଭେନଲି ସେଲେଷ୍ଟିଆଲ ବଡି ସହିତ କମ୍ପେୟାରିଂ କରିଛନ୍ତି। ମିଲ୍କି ୱେ ଅଫ୍ ଗାଲାକ୍ସିରେ ଷ୍ଟାର୍ସ ମାନେ ଯେମିତି ଚିକ୍ ଚିକ୍ କରନ୍ତି, ଏଇଟା ଠିକ୍ କି ଡାଫୋଡିଲ୍ସ ଚିକ୍ ଚିକ୍ କରନ୍ତି। ଟ୍ୱିଙ୍କଲି ଅନ୍ ଦ ମିଲ୍କି ୱେ। ଦ ଷ୍ଟ୍ରେସ୍ ଇନ୍ ନେଭର ଏଣ୍ଡିଂ ଲାଇନ୍। ଦ ଷ୍ଟ୍ରେସ୍ ମିନ୍ସ ପରିବ୍ୟାପ୍ତ ଅଛନ୍ତି, ବହୁତ ବାଟ ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ ଷ୍ଟ୍ରେସ୍ କରିଛନ୍ତି, ଆଖି ପାଇବନି। ଦ ଷ୍ଟ୍ରେସ୍ ଇନ୍ ନେଭର ଏଣ୍ଡିଂ ଲାଇନ୍, ଏମିତି ସରିନି। କାରଣ ଡାଫୋଡିଲ୍ ଗୁଡ଼ାକ ଏତେ ପରିମାଣରେ ଫୁଟିଛନ୍ତି ଯେ ଓଭର ଭ୍ୟାଲିଜ୍ ଆଣ୍ଡ ହିଲ୍ସ ଆଉ ଲେକ୍ ପାଖରେ ଏରା ଷ୍ଟ୍ରେସ୍ କରିଛନ୍ତି। ଏଣ୍ଡିଂ ତାଙ୍କର ନାହିଁ, ନେଭର ଏଣ୍ଡିଂ ଲାଇନ୍। ଆଣ୍ଡ ହିୟର along the margin of a bay, bay means that's your sea, and 10,000 saw at once, ଏକାଥରେ 10,000 ସେ ଦେଖିଛନ୍ତି। ଆକ୍ଚୁଆଲି ଏଇ 10,000 ଯେଉଁ କହିଛନ୍ତି ଏ ଗୋଟେ ଆନୁମାନିକ କହନ୍ତି, ସମସ୍ତେ ଏଇଭଳିଆ କଲେ ଲାଙ୍ଗୁଏଜ ୟୁଜ୍ କରିଛନ୍ତି। ଆଟ୍ ଏ ଗ୍ଲାନ୍ସ, ଏକା କ୍ଷଣକରେ, ଆଣ୍ଡ ଟଚିଂ ଦେୟାର ହେଡ୍ସ ଇନ୍ ସ୍ପ୍ରାଇଟଲି ଡ୍ୟାନ୍ସ, ଦେନ୍ ତାଙ୍କର ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କର ହେଡ୍ଟାକୁ ଟଚିଂ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ସ୍ପ୍ରାଇଟଲି ଡ୍ୟାନ୍ସିଂ ମୁଡ୍ରେ। ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଆମେ ଦେଖିବା ଥରକ ସେ କହିଛି ନେଭର ଏଣ୍ଡିଂ ଲାଇନ୍ ସି ଦ ଷ୍ଟ୍ରେଚ୍ ଇନ୍ ନେଭର ଏଣ୍ଡିଂ ଲାଇନ୍ along the margin of a bay, continue the image of infinitive extension. Never ending line suggested the flower extend beyond the speaker's ability to count or comprehend their full extent. How many daffodils are there? He cannot count it. And along the margin of a bay, indicated daffodils along the margin of a bay, here indicate the daffodils follow the shoreline counter. They trace the boundary between land and water, fitting naturally into landscape of geography. And daffodils position को position अच्छी natural geography set करचंती। आउट लिखा ची 10,000 saw eye at a glance. 10,000 saw at a glance means deliberately and excretion, hyperbole। जी एमती कहा जाए 1,10,000 कोटि कोटि जेमती ओडिया कहा जाए, ठीक सेमती। द स्पीकर क्लेम्स टू सी 10,000 फ्लावर at once. This is not literally accurate, but expression the speaker's sense of overwhelming abundance. The number 10,000 appears frequently in literature to represent an incalculable vast number. This hyperbole convey the speaker's amazement rather than precise enumeration. He is amazed when he saw at once and giving his glance. Here tossing their heads in a sprightly dance. Tossing means they continue the personification of the previous stanza. We know that the daffodils toss their heads like people dancing and express joy. Sprightly means lively, animated and energetic. Lively, animated, energetic, where they are tossing their head with the feeling happiness. Daffodils are not a passive flower but active agent. Here they expressing happiness and vitality. The dance metaphor enforces the idea of a coordinate and a joyful moment. Here is metaphorically the idea the poet used, the coordinate and joyful moment of daffodils. I think you understand the stanza by line. ଏହାକୁ ତମେ ଭଲ ଭାବରେ ଲାଇନ୍ ବାଇ ଲାଇନ୍ ବୁଝିପାରିଲ। ତେଣୁ କବି କେମିତି ତାଙ୍କ ଇମୋସନଟାକୁ ଫିଲ୍ କରିଛନ୍ତି ଡାଫୋଡିଲ୍ସ ଉପରେ। ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଆମେ ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ଷ୍ଟାଞ୍ଜାକୁ ଯିବା। ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଏମିତି ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ଷ୍ଟାଞ୍ଜା ଯେତେବେଳେ ଯିବା, ଏଇଟା ଅଛି ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ଥାର୍ଡ ଷ୍ଟାଞ୍ଜା। The waves beside them dance, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. Then here this stanza gives a special meaning. The wave beside them dance. The wave beside them dance, but they. Here the wave beside them dance, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee, introduce a comparison between two elements of nature, water and a flower. The waves beside the dance, there is a sea. In sea generally waves टा हुए तरंग लहड़ा होता है। तरंग लहड़ा उपरे सूर्य किरण बा लाइट पड़ले से चिक चिक स्पार्कलिंग करता है, चिक चिक लाइट देता है, स्पार्कलिंग करता है। ये सेमती डैफोडिल्स जेतेबेले एक संगे समस्ते डांसिंग करछनी, टचिंग करछनी हेड, तांको गोल्डन कलरटा ए स्पार्कलिंग करूछि। The wave beside them dance, but they outdid the sparkling waves in the glee. Here is you see the waves beside the daffodils are themselves dancing and sparkling. It gives lively and animated. Yet daffodils exceeds the waves in their expression of a glee. Glee means here joy and the merriment. The waves are waving in joyful manner. This comparison, this competition metaphor personifies both a natural element and the flowers emerge as superior in their joyful expression. Like here, waves ଯେମିତି ଲାଇଟ୍ ପଡ଼ି ଚିକ୍ ଚିକ୍ କରୁଛନ୍ତି, ସେମିତି ଡାଫୋଡିଲ୍ସ ତାଙ୍କର ଡାନ୍ସିଂ ଫର୍ମରେ ସ୍ପାର୍କଲିଂ କରୁଛନ୍ତି। A poet could not but be gay. In stanza, the poet philosophy, nature itself represented by waves, possesses joy, yet the daffodils' happiness surpasses even the animated water. Comparison suggests that the different aspects of nature express in joy in different degree. The daffodils represent the highest expression of a natural happiness. कवि ठीक कहते जे ए पोएट कुड नॉट बट दे गे, से निजु कहना कि पोएट मु हो कि अन्य जेकोसी कवि थांतु दे he directly addressed the speaker's emotional response. The phrase could not but suggested inevitability. The poet cannot help but be happy in the presence of such joyful flower. से जी थांतु मु थाए बा अन्य जे कोन था पोएट निश्चित से हैप्पी हेबे ए जॉयफुल फ्लावर को देखि। गे मीन्स हियर हैप्पी, गे यू सी इट मीन्स हैप्पी एंड ए लाइट हार्टेड एंड ए फेस्टिव, तीनटा मीनिंग रहउछि। ठीक तुमे एठी देखो हैप्पी, लाइट हार्टेड बा फेस्टिव। Jocund means characteristics of joyful. It is jocund in such a jocund company, that is the joviality or mirth, meaning the joviality and a mirth. The daffodils became speakers' company. The daffodils became speakers' companion, providing fellowship and emotional connection. Here you see daffodils give a companion to the poet. As like daffodils talk to the poet. Poet ସହିତ କଥାବାର୍ତ୍ତା ହଉଛନ୍ତି ଆଉ great company କରିଛନ୍ତି. I gazed and gazed. Gaze means see preciously looking, clear looking, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. I gazed and gazed, little thought, repeat the verb gazed for emphasizing. I gazed and gazed, emphasizing. The repetition indicate prolonged, sustained attention. The speaker's gaze is not momentary, but extend the deep thought. He was in deep thought. The repetition suggested the speaker is transfixed, absorbed in the beauty before him. Speaker सेमती निरीक्षण करछंती दी थर लिखिछंती माने से एम्फासाइज कर निरीक्षण करछंती कहिना से ब्यूटी को से ऑब्जर्व करछंती आ डीप थॉट रे मध्ये अछंती he the dashes create a pause emphasizing each moment of gazing. ये जो डैश दिया छै देखुछो एठी ए डैश टा होची से तक ग्रेजिंग टा को एम्फासाइज देछंती and deep emotional मध्ये अछंती. देखो what wealth the saw to me had brought. Here is conclude this stanza with a paradoxical revelation. That means the speaker did not initially understand the true value of what he was expecting. Wealth suggested a rich, but not material ones. The show here, the show, the spectacular display, brought him something precious. Yet he, the little thought about its significance in the moment. The irony is there here used the profound value was present but unrecognized. Will be resolved in final stanza. Will see that wealth the show को धन मत देला to me had brought मो को धन आसीगला को सुंदर जिनिसटा आसीगला मु ताको देखली. It hauchi tumro third stanza. I think you understand all this line and the meaning of the word, the feeling of the poet, and both in English and Odia. Students, I urge you learn it in English and listen it in English. Try to understand in English. टिके टिके ओडिया रे जानो ओडिया रे मीनिंग टा टिके जानि दियो इंग्लिश रे ताको भल भाबर जितो एटा तुम पे बहुत सहाय्य करिवो राइटिंग रे आ स्पीकिंग रे. Then we will discuss last stanza. You see, for up when on my couch I lie in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eyes which the bliss of solitude, and then my heart with pleasure fills and dance with the daffodils. Very interesting. The last stanza you will see. For oft when on my couch I lie. Begin the final stanza. The for indicate the speakers continue and explaining is a precious point. For what? For the daffodils, for the beautiful flower. The off means often, couch means is a resting place or bed, seated in the speaker's moment of rest and repose. On my couch means the resting place and the rest repose. The poem thus spans temporal distance from the flower. The encounter with the daffodils occurs in the first three stanzas. While the stanza describes the speaker's present experience. In vacant in pensive mood, here describe the speaker's emotional state during this moment of recollection. Vacant means empty. Vacant means empty, unoccupied, or blank. That means a mental state where the mind is not focused on immediate concern. In pensive mood, pensive means thoughtful, chintasila, or meditate, and melancholic. The speaker expressed this moment of remembrance both when his mind is empty and when it is engaged in quiet reflection. Both stages trigger the memory. Here poet ଯେତେବେଳେ ବହୁତ ଦୂରରେ ଅଛନ୍ତି ଡାଫୋଡିଲ୍ସର ଅଲଗା ଯେତେବେଳେ ରେଷ୍ଟ ମୋଡରେ ଅଛନ୍ତି ଶୋଇଯାଇଛନ୍ତି ମୁଡଟା ଯେତେବେଳେ ଭ୍ୟାକାଣ୍ଟ ଅଛି ଆଉ ପେନ୍ସିଭ୍ ମୁଡରେ ଅଛନ୍ତି ସେତେବେଳେ ସେ ଡାଫୋଡିଲ୍ସ ତାଙ୍କ ମୁଣ୍ଡକୁ ଅଛି ସୁନ୍ଦର ତୃପ୍ତିର ଅବସାଦ ନାହିଁ ଏ ସୁନ୍ଦରତା ଯେତେବେଳେ କୌଣସି ସମୟରେ ମୁଣ୍ଡକୁ ଲାଗିଯାଇଥିବ ମନରେ ଲାଗିଯାଇଥିବ ଅଥଚ ତା ଭିତରେ ପୁରା ମନ ନିବେଶ ହେଇଥିବ ଡିପ୍ ଥିଙ୍କିଂ ଥିବ ସେ ନିଶ୍ଚିତ ଦିନେ ଦିନେ ଆସିବ ମୁଣ୍ଡରୁ ରିଫ୍ଲେକ୍ଟ କରିବ ମାଇଣ୍ଡ ଭିତରେ ଆଉ ତାକୁ ଭାବି ମନ ବିଭୋର ହେଇଯିବ ଆନନ୍ଦର ହେଇଯିବ କବି ଏଠି ଯଥାର୍ଥରେ କହିଛନ୍ତି they flash upon that inward eyes which is bliss of solitude means present a central mechanism of the poem meaning inward eyes refer to imagination or the mind's eye inward eyes देखो ये पोएटकर अंतर्दृष्टि आउ इमेजिनेशन माइंड ताको पुणी से दृश्यावल को मनर प्रच्छद पट को आणुचंती दे फ्लाश से फ्लाशिंग रे जाउछि से सुंदर दृश्यावली कविता को अंतर्दृष्टि रे देखिया को पाउचंती द कैपेसिटी टू विजुअलाइज एंड रिमेंबर ताकर मन पकेबा आउ विजुअलाइज करवा दृश्यावल को देखिबा एटा ऑटोमेटिकली तक मुंड को आसुछि The daffodils flash upon the inner vision, appearing suddenly and vividly, clearly in speaker's mind and a speaker's consciousness. Bliss means perfect happiness. You see, that's bliss here, perfect happiness. The supreme joy. Solitude refer to the state, solitude here. They refer to state of being alone. And the bliss of solitude suggested that being alone is not inherently painful, but can be source of a profound happiness when accompanied by rich inner life. It upper dhari re kuhaichi recollected in tranquility, spontaneous overflowing of spontaneous overflowing of powerful feeling एटा कुहाइछि ना आगुरु देखो एई एकता तांको दुख देनी बरम आनंद देछि ए सॉलिट्यूड स्टेटटा तो केते सुंदर आनंद देछि काहे कि से आनंद विभोर मुहूर्तटा को मन पकचंती डैफोडिल्स जतल देखि जाइछंती एटी ऊपर लाइन सत भलो भाबरे मिले दियो poet is nothing spontaneous overflow of powerful feeling रिकलेक्ट ट्रांकुलेट एटा ठीक है ना देखे से ताहले डैफोडिल्स देखले समय से तो पोएम लिखि नांती से तबले रेस्ट मोड रे अछन से पोएम लिखिनी तबले सॉलिट्यूड स्टेट रे अछन से पोएम लिखि जंती देखलो से कहिथवा कोटेशनटा सतनो निश्चित सत्य एंड देन माय हार्ट विथ प्लेजर फील्स and dance with the daffodils. This is a critical inside the Wordsworth solitude, which seemed negative at the poem's opening, is revealed to be blessing when the mind possesses beautiful memory to sustain it. The daffodils memory become the companion that alleviate loneliness. Daffodils memory ତାକୁ companion ରହିଲା, ଚିରଦିନ ପାଇଁ alleviate କଲା, initiate କଲା ସେ loneliness କୁ। एकता ଭାବକୁ ସୁନ୍ଦର এই daffodils ହିଁ ତାଙ୍କୁ କରିଥିଲା। Then my heart with the pleasure feels means daffodils with the dance with the daffodils conclude the poem with a powerful emotional statement. Speaker's heart, emotions representing emotion, love, spiritual joy became full of pleasure. पूरा आनंद रे भरी गला, full of pleasure, and with the pleasure feels आनंद रे भरी गला। More significantly, the speaker's heart dance with the daffodils. Speaker heart ମଧ୍ୟ daffodil ର dance ସହିତ dancing କଲା। କେତେ inner ଆନନ୍ଦ ପାଇଲେ, ब्यूटी देखी केते सुंदर अंतर सुंदरता वा खुशी पाइले। And here the daffodils provide perpetual renewal of happiness. ताको happiness तो आउ थरे renewal करि पकेले। Whenever the speaker needs them, they appear in the mind's eye, bringing dancing joy. मुंडर आखि बा दूरदृष्टि अंतर्दृष्टि daffodil এই সুন্দরতা तांको पई आनी। The final stanza resolve the poem's paradox that loneliness is overcome not by external human companionship but an inner connection with nature's memory. Actually, it give a good idea or good meaning. Actually, loneliness is overcome not by external human companionship. एकता भाव मनीष मान कंपानियन द्वारा आनंद लाभ कर न थाए, बट इनर कनेक्शन विथ दी नेचुरल मेमोरी सहित इनर कनेक्शन थे बहुत आनंद मिले। स्पीकर सॉलिट्यूड इज ट्रांसफॉर्म फ्रॉम पेनफुल आइसोलेशन इनटू ब्लेस कम्युनिकेशन विथ दी नेचुरल ब्यूटी। स्पीकर का सॉलिट्यूड ट्रांसफर हो गला, देखा पेनफुल आइसोलेशन जो दुखदायक एकता भाव ठारू ब्लेस्ड है ए नेचुरल ब्यूटी ताको ब्लेस दे नेचुरल डैफोडिल सुंदरता तांको नेचुरल ब्यूटी को तांकर मनर ब्यूटी सहित चेंज कर देले। दिस इज योर लास्ट स्टैंजा। I think you all understand the poem stanza by stanza, and remember, if you find any difficult, you see it again and again. Some word meanings are given in glossary. You see all the meanings. It will helpful to you to find the meaning and write the actual meaning when you write the answer. स्टूडेंट्स रिमेम्बर पे तुम भल भाव मन रख ये जो मीनिंग गुड़ा सब कहला ये आर सिनोनिमिकल मीनिंग गुड़ा राइटिंग बेले लिखब। तापर आमे अलग सेक्शन डिस्कशन करवा ये पोएट का मूड आउ को पोएटिकल डिवाइस यूज भावुची यहाँ तुम संपूर्ण बुझी पाइल ताको आउ किसी प्रॉब्लम हेनी बुझापी। तबे happy learning. Have a good day.